5 cool ways that you need to be using your Line 6 HX Stomp. So this is going to pertain to the HX Stomp XL or the regular HX Stomp, really doesn't matter. Depends on your pedal board size and your needs and wants. So if you are already an HX Stomp or a Helix user, let me know your top 5 reasons for using it in the comments below so that others that are seeking knowledge here can maybe learn a thing or two in the comments as well. First one I want to talk about, I'm currently on tour. So I'm in a hotel where I don't have access to any of my rig, but the HX Stomp is also a very capable audio interface, meaning that you could just plug it into your laptop, and that's what I'm doing. I have my laptop right here, and I'm able to do recording sessions. I'm able to do anything that I need right from the HX Stomp, and that also doesn't limit you. So you would normally think, okay, I've got to use the HX Stomp for it, but really you can just use it as an interface, and you can just have a dry input that will enable you to use your plugins. So you can use only the HX Stomp for effects, and you can get your amp modeling or your amp capturing from any of the other 1,000,001 resources that we have nowadays as guitar players. So if you're someone that really likes the neural DSP stuff, you can use your amp plugins with the HX as an interface. The next one is as a straight up pedal board. So you can get away with using just your HX Stomp or HX Effects as a standalone pedal board and not need anything else. If you look at almost every session player's pedal board like I do, almost all of them have an HX Effects on them. And what I would like people to be a little bit more aware of is that the HX Stomp XL or HX Stomp are just as capable as the HX Effects, with the added bonus that if something happens to your precious tube amp, you're someone that's not ready to jump into the world of digital modeling yet as far as amps go, but you're okay with trying the effects out, you have a built-in backup rig. You could just pull up an amp model and be off and running if something did happen to your tube amps on a gig or on a session. It's not going to kill the day, and potentially it will save your life. And a lot of the session players that I follow at least say that they have the actual vintage pieces of gear that, or pedals at least, that the HX is modeling, and the facsimile of it is just as good in a pinch and gets the job done just as well as if you had the original stuff. They really painstakingly modeled the effects, and I think that's where the Line 6 stuff really shines, is in the effects. Even the stomp boxes are great. I'm currently using one external pedal just because it's my favorite, and there's no Nobles ODR 1 in the HX yet. If you're listening, add it. If you want it, comment below. But I use the Prince of Tone in the HX and the Diana drive and a couple of fuzzes. I really love using the pedals, the effects in the HX world. Next one I want to talk about is snapshots. So if you're a guitar player and you have a pedal board, you're all too familiar with having the tap dancing during gigs and having to worry about turning this on, turning this off, bending over in the middle of the song to change a setting. Well, what Line 6 has in the HX Stomp and all of their products is what's called snapshots. And snapshots are the most revolutionary thing in the guitar industry, in my opinion, because it basically gives you a preset within your preset. Think of your preset as your master rig, your dream rig, all the beautiful, glorious things you've ever wanted. And now with snapshots, you can basically have different settings on every one of your pedals, every one of your amps, and all of that can be pressed at the click of a button. So you could press one stomp box or one snapshot, whatever you want to call it, and have access to endless possibilities of your rig, endless parameter changing and turning things on and off. If you can imagine it in your head, you can absolutely do it. And that's going to bring me to number 3.5. Snapshots are like the top tier, most powerful thing, but I also want to talk about the parameter controls. With the HX world, you're allowed to do parameter controls. And not only can you do parameter controls, you can assign multiple things to one stomp box. So this is something that I'm particularly using on tour. I have one stomp box, one pedal that's going to do many different things. And the reason I'm not using snapshots for this is because typically when I use snapshots, I want it to be for amp settings and different settings within my rig. So I'll have my clean amp, dirty amp, heavier distorted amp, and I'll do things that way. Why I would opt to use parameter control is in a situation where no matter what sound I'm using, I have one specific solo boost. So instead of having 3 snapshots for clean, crunch, and dirty, and then 3 separate soloing snapshots for clean, solo, mid-gain solo and heavier gain solo. I have one stomp box, one parameter controlling stomp box. That's going to be my solo boost. It's going to add a little bit more gain, tweak the EQ a little bit, add a little bit more reverb, add a little bit more delay. Whatever you want done on your solo sound, you can do that with one press of a button. And again, it's only limited to your imagination. However in depth, in craziness you want to get with this, you can do it with the parameter controls. Probably the best part about Helix is snapshots and parameter controls. Okay, so remember way back when I talked about snapshots and parameter controls? Well, so number 4 is the command center. And what the command center does is it allows you to put anything, anywhere you want on your floorboard. So if you have the HX Stomp XL, you have your 6 available foot switches to put whatever you want there. And this is way more game changing when you actually know what you're doing with it. This is like some high level advanced stuff that really is a game changer, and I hate using that term, but it really is. You can put a snapshot anywhere you want on the board. You can put your parameter controls anywhere you want on the board. You can put your preset navigation anywhere. You can also take your favorite settings from a looper. So for example, if you're a looper, you can put a looper in the block, and say you only use play, pause, and redo. You can put those 3 buttons only on there. You're not stuck having the entire looper parameters popping up. You can also use Command Center when you're plugged into your computer as a MIDI controller. You can use it as a hotkey. So when you're in your DAW, you can actually set up a foot switch to hit play, pause, undo, record, whatever you want to do. In your DAW, you can program a hotkey for it. On top of that, you can also control YouTube. So if you're learning something on YouTube and you need to rewind, pause, play, whatever, there's templates on there for all of these things that are built in. You could just go over to your templates and use them, and that's what Command Center is. It's literally the greatest thing ever when it comes to guitar. I mean, what other product is able to do all of this in one section of its I don't know what word I wanted to use there. And number 5, arguably one of the most important things, is the new cab engine. And now you have the ability to move your mic positions. And honestly, you can get any sound that you want out of this. There's no excuse, no reason for you to not be able to get a perfectly usable and professional sound out of the existing cabinets in the software. I have videos on how I do the cabinets and how and my workflow when it comes to the cabinet section. You can check that out. And yeah, I guess that's it. So that's my list of 5 ways that you need to be using your HX Stomp or Stomp XL. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know what you would add. And if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.